grew up with the classic etch-a-sketch toy. If you don't know what that is, it's a screen and two knobs, and as you turn the knobs, you can control a stylus to create drawings. And it was a bit of a challenge because one knob would control the stylus on the X direction, one knob would control the stylus in the Y direction. And so to create more complex lines like diagonals or circles, you had to turn both with some kind of combination. Today we're going to remake this classic project using some PicoDev hardware, a couple of knobs, an OLED module, and an accelerometer to detect shaking so that we can clear the artwork once we're done. We'll assemble this hardware and then we'll even code along so you can follow all the decision making we make along the way. Let's get started. To build this project, we'll need the following hardware: 2 PicoDev potentiometers, a PicoDev OLED module, and 3-axis accelerometer, a few PicoDev cables, and today I'm using a Raspberry Pi Pico in an expansion board. And I'll assemble the modules onto this little 3x1 array. Take the first PicoDev potentiometer and make sure all of its ID switches on the back are off, and connect that to the PicoDev OLED module. Now for the second potentiometer, make sure the first ID switch is on for this one, and that way we can uniquely address each potentiometer. And we'll connect that to the other side of the OLED. Next, I'll use a longer cable to connect the potentiometer to the accelerometer. And for this one, I'll actually plug it in to the other side, to the right-hand side of the accelerometer. We'll see why when we mount everything to the array. I mounted some standoffs to the OLED module and then mounted that to the platform, making sure that the accelerometer gets fastened in the process by using screws on the other side of the standoffs. So we have this stack up of OLED and accelerometer on top of each other. Then I was free to secure the potentiometers either side of the OLED, and here I just used 2 screws. It holds the potentiometers at a bit of an angle, but I think that actually enhances the user experience. Finally, I can connect my Sketcher project to my Pico using the final PicoDev cable. And that's the full hardware assembly. I'll connect to my computer with USB and we can get programming. We're going to code this project together as a bit of a code along. Don't worry, I'll post a full copy of the code in the article for this project if you just want to skip straight to the end, but I encourage you to code along because there's a lot more learning that can be done. So that we can get started right away, I'll assume that you've followed the tutorials for all these PicoDev modules, so you're at least a little familiar with how they work. Assuming you've followed the tutorial for each of these modules, you should be pretty familiar with this setup code. Here we're just importing all our module functionality and we're initializing all 4 modules. We have the potentiometer for controlling the stylus in the X direction, and this is our first module with ID switches all 0. For the potentiometer controlling the Y direction, we have that ID switch set to 1. So this left pot will be for X and this right pot will be for Y. And then we just initialize the OLED and the accelerometer. So we're going to use potentiometers to draw on an OLED. And we need to map the range of these potentiometers to the range of the OLED. We want to make sure that our cursor will be able to draw on the screen. And we know that the OLED starts at 0, 0 in the top left and ends at 127.63 in the bottom right. So I know I want my X potentiometer to have a minimum of 0 and a maximum of 127. So that when we turn it all the way to the left, we're at the left side of the screen, and all the way to the right, we're at the right side of the screen. I'll do the same thing for the Y potentiometer so that they have a similar feel, like a similar response, but we need to invert the scale here. So maximum equals 127 and minimum equals 0. And the reason for that is because the top of the screen is 0 and the bottom of the screen is 63. If we had these the other way around, it would move in the reverse direction. And believe it or not, we're actually ready to draw straight on the screen. We can create an infinite loop and sample the potentiometers. We can say X is equal to pot X.value and Y is equal to pot Y.value. Our OLED takes integers, so we'll cast these as an integer, and I'll just round them as well, so we get rounding to the nearest whole number. Int round. So we now have some coordinates suitable for our OLED. Because our Y scale actually goes beyond 63, we have it going all the way up to 127. we could just cap y as the minimum of y and 63, just to make sure we don't go off the screen. And now we can make sure everything is working. We can say display.pixel x, y, and we'll set that to 1 as an on pixel, a white pixel. And display.show. I'll include a sleep for 50 milliseconds. I'll connect to my Pico. I have all my source files uploaded from the project, and I will run this as Sketcher. And here we have a single dot that we can move around, but I can move the dot left and right using the left knob, and then up and down using the right knob. And if I move both knobs at the same time, I can create this kind of diagonal line. One thing that's quite noticeable is that we're not creating continuous lines here. We're getting these scattered dots. What might be nicer is to take the previous XY position from the last frame and draw a line between that point and the new point. So rather than getting these scattered dots, which kind of look like a line, we can draw an exact line between 2 points from 2 different frames. I'll show you what that looks like. We need some variables for the previous positions, xprev and yprev. That's for x previous and y previous. And we'll start those off, we'll initialize those as just the int of potx.value and poty.value. So we've initialized those at the start of the script. Now, rather than drawing a pixel, we'll draw a line. We'll say here display.line xprev, yprev to x, y. So we're drawing from x previous and y previous to the current x, y. And of course, we want a color of 1. After we've updated the display, we can now update our x and y previous variables. We can say xprev equals x and yprev equals y. I'll run the script again. Now that looks much better. There's my horizontal line. I'll return to about the center. There's my vertical line. And can I draw a diagonal? Nice. That's all it takes. How good. All right. Let's see if we can draw something. I'll draw the ground. And then I'm going to draw, then I'll draw a little house. Diagonal. And then diagonally down. Oh. You have to wrap your brain around which direction is which. I know I want a door in my house. And maybe I want a little chimney. And then we can draw a tree. And this way, and this way. That's a beautiful tree. Just stunning. We'll finish off with that trunk there. And now we have a house next to a tree, as illustrated by yours truly, with like what? Like 23 lines of code? That's awesome. I'm so pleased with that. This is a complete and functional project as is, about 20 lines of code, a couple of modules, and we're there. We have a result. We can draw something. What you can draw is now only limited by your ability to think about how you can make those lines work. I think we can create a more classic experience though. We have the accelerometer, so we can actually create a function to shake and clear the display. I'll show you how that works. We can replace this sleep ms50, this 50 millisecond sleep, with if motion.shake. Now motion.shake is a function that takes a threshold for how strong the shaking is. I'll set that to 20. A count of samples, I'll just leave that as 10. And a total delay, I'll set that as 25. So what's important here is that we have a strength of shaking and we have 10 samples taken over 25 milliseconds. If we detect shaking, we want to clear the display. So on a new line, we just simply say, I'll create a function for this, animation reset. We'll get back to why that's a function in a sec. Let's write that function, def animation reset. In here, we could just say display.fill 0 and then display.show. With just this check of shake, we can reset the display and make a new drawing. Let's run the script. I ran into this funny error here, this missing positional argument, and I was like, I've done this before. I know that this is correct, but actually the eagle-eyed viewers among you probably saw it right at the start. I didn't have these brackets here. I needed these brackets to actually run the initialization for the accelerometer. So if I run the script, we have our beautiful line, maybe some diagonal lines, some swirls. If I tap the project, nothing happens, but if I shake it, it clears immediately. Very nice. We can go even further. The original etch-a-sketch had this beautiful experience where you would shake it and the drawing would kind of fade away little by little as all those, I don't know, those particles inside rearranged or became randomized. And that's why we created the animation reset function. Now we can implement that functionality. So instead of a sharp reset of the project, we can have the drawing fade gradually. Here's what we're going to do. Every time we detect a shake, we'll loop through every pixel on the display and essentially roll a dice. And I don't know, 20% of the time, we'll say that that pixel will get reset. So on the first shake, about 1 in 5 pixels will get reset. On the second shake, another 1 in 5. There may be overlaps, but eventually, if we keep shaking, that image should blur out to nothing. What we need is a loop. For x in range width, width is a property of the OLED. That's the number of pixels that create the width. And for y in range height. So this is basically saying for every pixel on the display, we're going to need random numbers now. So I'll import random. From random, import random. And then we can say 20% of the time do something. If random is less than 0.2, the function random will return a number between 0 and 1. And so 20% of the time, it'll be less than 0.2. This is a neat way to create some kind of probability. We can then say display.pixel at the location that we're checking, xy, display pixel xy, for that pixel, we want to set it off. So we'll set that to 0. And then we can just call display.show. So to recap, we loop through every pixel on the OLED, and 20% of the time, we'll set the pixel that we're considering off. Let's give it a go. Run the script, create a beautiful drawing. I don't know, I'm just going to create some waves. It's really responsive on a Raspberry Pi Pico, very impressive. And now, if I shake the display, we can see a little bit of decomposition. And if I keep shaking the display, it now looks quite random and noisy. And if I keep shaking it, more and more. Now, of course, it is possible that we could wind up with a pixel that's left on. But if we keep shaking it and shaking it, then they should decay. Statistically, it must completely clear the display. And there we are, back to empty. That took a little bit longer than I'd like. So we could wrap the whole thing in a loop for I in range 5. Now, basically on any shake event, it will run this whole sequence 5 times. Whoops, for I in range 5. All right, we've got our drawing. And now when I shake, we get a lot more of a clearing effect per shake action. How good. One little cherry on top is a splash screen. I've provided splash.pbm, which is basically an image file that we can load when the project powers up, just as like a nice title screen. Right before we hit the infinite loop, we could call display.load.pbm, and we'll give it the file path, splash.pbm, and we want that to be shown as a positive image. And then we'll create a small delay. I'll just say 2 seconds. And now when we run the script, there it is, PiicoDev Sketcher. And actually, we've loaded the image PiicoDev Sketcher, but of course we need to clear the display. Display.fill 0. Display.show. Got a show. Now when we run our script, we get our splash screen. The splash screen goes away, and we can draw our beautiful picture of a house and a tree. And you can make your own splash screen. I just illustrated this in a free vector editing program and exported it as a PBM file, and you can just load it straight in. Isn't that just the way with projects? We were basically 80% there with like 30 lines of code, not very much time, and then we just really went down the garden path and included all this other functionality, like shaking to clear. Then we had the animated shake to clear, so we had the image decompose with shaking. And finally, the splash screen, the cherry on top. And that's a bit of a neat trick, keeping in mind we can loop through the pixels in rows and columns, and how to create some kind of probability. This is a really nice way to create an organic feeling effect in your projects by creating this kind of probability. In any case, project complete. If you make one of these or you make something cool with this as a base project, we'd love to see it in the comments for this project. Of course, if you have any questions, let us know. We're full-time makers and happy to help. Until next time, happy making.